Hey everyone, welcome to Open Eyes. Hey everyone, welcome to Open Eyes.
Hey everyone, welcome back to your favorite podcast, Open Eyes. This is your favorite host, Alexis. And I hope you enjoyed our first podcast on video last week. And you've listened and maybe given us a little rating of a 5-star on Spotify. And I wanted to maybe do a little bit of recap, talk to our new followers and listeners about my very first podcast I did, which was a little icebreaker to my Renai's Pigmentosa journey. I just wanted to recap about it and just talk about my very first podcast episode I ever did. And that is when I made my podcast, which was I think 2 years ago. I wanted to start my podcast because I was newly diagnosed, still in the process of it. I was like, how can I help others if maybe they're in that same boat as I am? Still accepting their Renai's Pigmentosa journey, or just newly diagnosed, or just in the same boat as I was. And I didn't really see a lot of people talk about Renai's Pigmentosa. There's a few people on YouTube, but not a lot of disability creators. But now, lovely that there's a lot of them. I wanted to just recap about the icebreaker into my journey, which I see that a lot of you loved that episode. I'm so happy y'all did. So now I've been dealing with Renai's Pigmentosa for 5 years, and the journey has been up and down. Whose hasn't? It's just the life and journey of having a disability. So I have Renai's Pigmentosa, but it's because a genetic disorder, which is called Bardet-Biedl syndrome. And I think there's 2 other rare disorders that causes Renai's Pigmentosa. I know it's Bardet-Biedl and I know it's Usher syndrome, but I think there's one other. I'm not sure, so don't quote me on that. I had that because when I was born, I had a genetic. I'm the only one in my family that has Renai's Pigmentosa, and that's because when my parents had me, I don't know if they used maybe some medication that helped them get pregnant, or I'm not sure, but something along those lines, Hispanic pressure, who doesn't love that? So, I was born, and I think it was chromosome 26 in my DNA was crashed, and that made me have the Bardet-Biedl syndrome, which sadly for me, that is a hereditary disorder. So if I ever want to have children, hopefully not, but hopefully it skips a generation. But that's what makes me a little bit scared to have children too. But that's a different topic. So I wasn't fully diagnosed until I was 17 with Renai's Pigmentosa and Bardet-Biedl syndrome. But all my life, since I was born, they told my parents, oh, she might have Bardet-Biedl syndrome, but we're not exactly sure. She shows the signs, but still, we're not sure. And they did do testing for it, but still, 1998, the technology is not what it is now. So there's that as well. So I have dealt with Renai's Pigmentosa for 5 years, and it's been a little bit of a struggle, still accepting that I'm losing my vision, but who doesn't have that struggle? So I feel like my vision is the first time I was diagnosed, it was when I lost majority of my vision. Let's say at the 30%, I think. And then after that, 2 years later, it was stable for 2 years, and then I lost a little bit more. But mostly I'm using losing the peripheral vision, and that is just the outer vision. But that's with Renai's Pigmentosa. You start losing your vision with your peripherals. It just keeps going smaller and smaller and smaller until you see out of a little tiny hole. which I'm not ready for that yet, but thank God I haven't lost a lot of it. There's people that when they first get diagnosed, they lose a majority of it, and that's normal. So I still have a lot of time to get to the completely blind, but I'm ready if I got my skills and everything if I get there one day. And I've had struggles like anybody else. I've had blind girl moments like anybody else. I've fallen, I've tripped, I've run into things. Who has not? And are blind, legally blind. That is just the process. I've gone through training. My first few years being diagnosed, I went to the Texas School for the Blind, and I got trained to do orientation and mobility, which is just training with the white cane, which I don't really use, but sometimes I do when I need it, when it's like out and about and it's dark, or if I go somewhere and it's new for me and maybe the little sidewalk isn't the greatest, or the area isn't the greatest, I'll use it. Or sometimes I'll use it to identify, because, I don't typically look like someone that has a condition, but, I have to have something to identify. So in the past 5 years, I haven't really lost my hobbies. I've gained some hobbies. I've added more things to my bucket list, to where I want to travel, where I want to do more. I still want to go skydiving. I have not gone. That's on my bucket list still. I want to go skydiving. I want to go zip lining. I want to go, I don't know, I love kayaking. I want to go. I still love doing my sports, my activities, my hobbies. I love watching my horror movies, my rom-coms. Something new that I've done since being diagnosed is that when I was little, I wasn't a big fan of reading, but I loved to read books that were based on movies. And so along my life, I loved to read. And then I was a little sad when I couldn't see the print on the books anymore. I got a little sad because I loved reading. Now I do is I use audiobooks and I use Audible. Ooh, I love Audible. Ooh, girl, I love me some Colleen Hoover. Who doesn't love that? Ooh, I love a good spicy rom-com book or a documentary book, whatever. I use Audible now, so I think that's what's changed. Something else I've used is that I use inverted fonts on my laptop now. I use black on white and with bold. I do that. My good thing is with the laptop I bought, it had accessibility on it. That's so good. Or you can use different softwares you can add on, and you could use your laptop still, use your technology. See, I think something else I've used differently since losing my vision. Let me think. Oh, I've used. There's something else I've done, but I don't remember at the moment. But mostly it's been the audiobooks. I was sad, cause I don't know if it's like the Leo in me that I love everything to be aesthetic and so nice and create a little bit of a scenery in a little moment. So I love lighting a little candle. I love dim lighting. I love to put on my audiobook, and that's a Friday night for me. Gotta figure out what to do on Friday nights, Saturday nights, Oh, I still love my horror movies on Netflix. I still do. Oh, remember what I do now. So since sometimes I usually just zoom in when I can on websites or whatever, but if I can't, it's not accessible. I use the voiceover now more often. I've noticed that I was a little bit scared of using voiceover because what is this? I don't want it to be reading back to me. I want people to hear me in public. I do it in public now. I don't care. I'm just me accessing my phone, and I think I use it now more often, and I'm okay with that. Oh well, gotta make myself accessible for me. I think that's what are some of the updates I've done since being diagnosed with retinitis pigmentosa. I call it RP for short. I feel a lot of people do. And, ooh, I've grown a big community of people. I've found a lot of people with Random Mendoza on Instagram, on TikTok. Ooh, there's a lot of creators now on TikTok that are more accessible. And then, let's see, something else new about me since my very first episode. I've grown as a person. I've been more outgoing in the aspect of being like, putting it all over my social media. I'm legally blind. Who gives a crap? And also, I've been more open and educating others on my social medias, putting it out there as well. I think I've been more positive throughout my life because I'm not going to look at the negative and then, go into depression that I kind of did, but a little bit. We got out of it. Thank God we got out of it because I don't think I would be able to be still stuck in it. Who would love that? Not me. Let's see, what else have I done since being diagnosed? I've loved to find things to do, find new hobbies. But yeah, I haven't really changed anything about my life. I still love to cook. I think I just found other ways to cook, like using like the little chopper for my veggies, using the air fryer. Ooh, girl, if you don't have an air fryer, you need one. Those are the best. I love my air fryer. I just found I use like bright colored things now, like if the cutting board, I use like a bright color, and knives as well. I have like colored. But I love coffee and tea. I have a little coffee station in my house, and I love it. So I was like, I need to make this accessible for me. So I'm like, my favorite color is red. So I already had a red coffee machine. I'm gonna get my red milk frother, my red hand mixer. And gotta make it all cute and aesthetic as well, and also accessible for me to see. So I want to know if anyone out there that maybe is recently losing their vision or still going through the process of feeling that, accepting that you're losing your vision later in life and it's progressive, and my favorite word would be like, oh well, that is life and it's okay. So I hope you liked this podcast, and yeah, we're going to be doing more podcast video. And I hope you give us a little bit of a 5-star on Spotify. You can rate us. Let me know if you love this podcast. And please make sure to follow on Instagram at Open.eyes23 and on TikTok, Open.eyes23. And if you want to send in a question, maybe a little story, make sure to email at openeyespodcast@gmail.com. That's openeyespodcast@gmail.com. And yeah, make sure to follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts at Open Eyes.